Hey everybody, Daniel Mosnet with Cowboy Charcoal. We've got a great chicken recipe for you today. Last time we put a chicken recipe together, we wrapped it in a little bit of that Compart bacon and you guys went nuts. So here's another simple weekday chicken recipe that you guys can do. Your kids are gonna love it, you're gonna love it. It's super easy to do. Like all the recipes I do, they've gotta be easy if I can do it. So let's take a look. First thing we're gonna do is we are gonna take some boneless, skinless chicken breast and the simplest marinade. All the folks on the barbecue circuit do this. You might think it's a little weird, but it's the easiest way to go. You just take your chicken, put it in a Ziploc bag. We're gonna add your favorite Italian dressing. This is a little wishbone Italian dressing. We're just gonna add that right to the bag. And that has all the ingredients that you need for an excellent chicken marinade. We're gonna put a little bit of that in here, as much as you like. Might as well use most of the bottle. And you can let this sit. The longer you let it sit, the more flavor you're gonna get into your chicken. So a couple hours, overnight, it's up to you. I usually do this the night before when I'm cleaning up dinner from that night. I'll put in my marinade, put my chicken in, throw it in the refrigerator, let it sit overnight, and by the time I'm home from work, it's ready to cook. And it's got all of those fantastic Italian flavors in there. And you can see in the marinade, and you can see you've got the red peppers, you can see your oil, salt and pepper, vinegar is gonna penetrate through that chicken breast. So let this sit as long as you like. Now that our chicken's ready to go, we've got to get our grill ready. So as you've seen, you walk into any store, there are an unbelievable amount of grills that you can purchase. You've got your old, standard ceramic grills, your Tomato grills, you've got the regular round style kettle grills. You're also starting to see all of these types of pieces of equipment, and they're fantastic. This is a master built, gravity fed grill, and it's so great to get those natural flavors of Cowboy charcoal. And this is oak and hickory lump. So you can see that it is just straight wood. There's no additives here whatsoever. It is just straight oak hardwood that we put in our kilns in Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, those areas where we get all those great American hardwoods. And you're just left with a beautiful piece of charcoal. Okay, so we're gonna add all these pieces of charcoal just right to the top. You just dump this in. We're just doing a little bit of chicken, so we don't need to add a tremendous amount. And then from there, we light our fire starter right inside. And now today, we're gonna use a few pieces of apple chunk. This is just straight apple chunks. And now to this, we just add the chunks right to the bottom. And as those hot coals fall down, they're gonna ignite our chunks with smoke. And we'll have great applewood smoke with our oak and hickory lump charcoal. Now that we've got our charcoal lit, we're gonna come over here and we're gonna set our temperature to about 365 and start. All right, so we've let our grill come up to about 350. We're at 357 degrees right now. You can see our smoke is billowing out. These Masterbuilts, they really do a good job with controlling the smoke, controlling the heat. It's similar to what you'd get with a pellet grill, but just allows you to get all those great charcoal flavors from the oak and hickory, as well as the applewood smoke. So we're gonna preheat our cast iron pan. This cast iron pan is gonna go for our tomato relish. This tomato relish is super easy to make. So to start off, we're gonna take our chicken. This is the one that we've marinated overnight. And we'll put these, we're gonna cook these till they're 165. And just set them straight on. So we're just gonna put this down. We'll let our cast iron warm up. Close the top so we get some of that smoke flavor. Now let's prepare our relish. Simple, simple, simple. We've got cherry tomatoes that we're just gonna simply cut in half. Okay, we're gonna start it off with some chopped red onion. Now peppers. I like to have just a little bit of spice in a little bit of heat in my relish. This is a Red Fresno and an Anaheim chili. You can use jalapenos, you can use habaneros, as much spice, as much heat as you like, that's what you can use. I like my kids to eat this, so I don't want it to be too overbearing with pepper heat. So I just use an Anaheim and a Red Fresno, take out all the veins and the seeds. Okay, this is an Anaheim. Those are the longer ones that you see in the grocery store. The jalapenos are the shorter ones. Typically, the shorter the pepper, the smaller the pepper, the hotter the pepper. So Anaheims and Red Fresnos. Okay, then we're just gonna season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. And as soon as the relish is done, we're gonna chop some fresh basil and just put it right on the top. So, all right, so into our pan, we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil. We'll add our red onions. Okay, we're gonna let those start to sweat before we add our tomatoes. I'll just stir this around a little bit. I chose, you can use any size cast iron out here. You can do this on the stove inside if you want to while your chicken's cooking also if you don't have a cast iron. But I chose a little bit wider of a cast iron so it gives enough room in the pan for everything to layer out and even out and evaporate some of that liquid that's gonna come off of these peppers and off of the tomatoes. We'll add our Anaheim chilies, add our Red Fresnos, and then as soon as these start to get soft, then we're gonna add our tomatoes. These are just a nice, vibrant set of colors out here. While those are cooking, we're gonna turn and take a look at our chicken. Still got a little bit of time. It looks like we're cooking a little bit hotter in the middle of our grill. So we'll flip these over and we might even change sides. We're gonna close this down a little bit, let our heat come back up, and let those vegetables cook. So while that's cooking, this is the apple that we're using. These just come straight from the apple trees. We don't do much to debark. We don't do much to change the natural form of the apple chunk at all. This is just straight apple that comes wild, and that's where we're getting our smoke. We're getting that sweet smoke flavor today. We're coupling that with our oak and hickory lump charcoal. Excellent flavors. So we are cooking with some fire. So you do have to be a little bit careful with some of that fat that's dripping down and some of that marinade that's dripping down. So you will get some sparks in there a little bit. I like that charred flavor a little, so we'll put it right over the top. Okay. Now that our onions and peppers are going, so we've got our tomatoes in there, and that's all just gonna come down. We're gonna just let those break down naturally. We want all of the water and all of those natural juices to just break down out of this. Look at how fantastic that looks. That's just gonna go right over the top of the chicken. The kids are gonna dig it. Okay, now we're gonna get ready to finalize our relish. We're just gonna take a few pieces of basil. We're gonna put those right on top of each other. And we're gonna we want just a little bit of fresh basil. We want that flavor just to finish off the relish. So we stack these all together, roll it just a little. And we'll slice through and we'll put that right on top. You wanna do this right at the end, right before you put them on. You don't wanna cut these too early because they'll start to wilt. So that's ready to go in. We've got our plating dish. We just added a little lettuce right on the bottom just to make it look nice. So let's check our chicken. I think we're just about done. If not, we might need to flip it just to make sure we're getting good color, good cross marks everywhere. Never worry about flipping your chicken too much. You know, you wanna make sure that you're cooking well on all sides. You can really tell that I'm cooking a little better in the center, so we're gonna move these over a little bit more, put a couple of the smaller ones to the outside. Now, as these start to cook and your tomatoes start to break down, you just take your wooden spoon and you can just kind of smash those down just a little bit, and it'll help allow all that liquid to come out of it. And we'll slice the chicken and just spread it right over the top. So this is just about done. These pieces are looking pretty close. Just gonna close that and let it cook for a minute. All right, so as we're getting close to being ready, you can see that the juice is really coming out of these tomatoes and making a nice little relish, a nice little sauce. We didn't add any water, we didn't add any broth or stock. This is just all the natural juices coming out of the peppers and the onions and the tomatoes. This is just about ready. So to this, we're gonna add our freshly chopped basil. Give this one more stir, just to incorporate everything. And this is done. I'm gonna move it up top because I don't want it to cook that much more. As we're cooking our chicken here, you can see that marinade really helps to bring in that Maillard reaction, which is the amino acids and the sugar and the liquid all caramelizing on the outside of the meat and getting you that nice crust. That's where you get that flavor, that great flavor from barbecue. And the longer you let your chicken sit in that marinade, the more of that brown color you're gonna get. Our tomatoes are done. We'll show you what those look like. You can put this in a bowl. The fresh basil smells just fantastic. We're gonna temp our chicken one more time. We're 167 here, so that's about perfect. How great did these look? So that was it. That was just a simple marinade. Now the best thing that you wanna do is you wanna let these rest for about 15 to 20 minutes before you slice, because you wanna make sure that all of the juices have a chance to reabsorb back into the meat so you don't get your juices that bleed out all over. But we're just gonna show you what a few of these look like as we cut all the way through. We'll put that right on our plate. You wanna salt all the way through, just a little finishing salt, and then we're gonna add a little bit of our relish right on top. Easy stuff. So that's how we top off this chicken recipe. It's super easy to make. I'd love to see your favorite chicken recipes. We'd love to recreate them for everyone else to see as well. So make sure you like and subscribe, chime in, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, and we'll make sure you get a whole bunch of recipes that you can do for dinner tonight, on the weekends, or any time of the year. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daniel Wozniak with Cowboy Charcoal. We'll see you next time.